that leads us into skeletal muscle fiber types. You are a collection of a few different types of skeletal muscles, skeletal muscle fibers, skeletal muscle cells. Okay. You can see up there, skeletal muscle fibers are classified based on the type of contraction generated, slow, fast, and how much they are supplied by ATP, means for supplying ATP. Aerobic, anaerobic, a bunch of fun stuff. Okay. The type of contraction generated is dependent upon the size of the muscle fiber. So power is going to be related to how big the muscle fiber is. Bigger fiber in diameter, more myosin heads interacting with more of the actin, so I can generate those latches to create all that force. Speed is related to a number of things. Okay? The type of myosin ATPase we have, how quick I can get the action potential down from the brain down to the muscle. How fast do I get calcium to be released? Calcium is an important concept, right? With our muscle contraction sequence. How fast do we reuptake it? How fast can I do it again? So to that end, we have basically fast twitch fibers and slow twitch fibers in terms of this, how fast these things can contract. Fast twitch fibers are quicker, as the name implies, okay? Quicker. They can produce power. These are going to be relatively big, but their contractions are a lot briefer, okay? Powerful, quick movements like swinging a bat, swinging a golf club, okay? That's very, very fast. Okay? Boom. It only took maybe a couple seconds. Right? Very quick, very brief, and I'm able to hit it out of the ballpark. Powerful. Slow twitch fibers are the exact opposite of that. So if you remember fast twitch, tell yourself slow twitch is opposite, you're good to go. We can also look at how they supply that ATP, like I said. Do they utilize oxygen or do they not utilize oxygen effectively? That's basically what it comes down to. We call this oxidative fibers and glycolytic fibers. Look at the name. What does the name tell you? Oxidative, oxygen. Glycolytic, glycolysis. No oxygen available. Okay, so just look at what these words are. Because they are oxidative fibers, that means they can utilize aerobic cellular respiration. These things are fatigue resistant. If you look at them, they have a very extensive capillary network. If I have an extensive capillary network, what do capillaries carry? Blood. So if I have a lot of blood, if I have a lot of capillaries bringing a lot of blood, does that make sense that I would have a lot of oxygen available then? Heck yeah. If I have all of these capillaries bringing all of this blood with all of this oxygen in it, I would need a lot of mitochondria to handle all that oxygen. Otherwise, it wouldn't be dumped off. It'd be a waste. So because I have all those capillaries with all that blood, carrying all that oxygen, I'm going to have a lot of mitochondria there. Again, myoglobin is there as well. Oxygen gets dumped off into the sarcoplasm of a skeletal muscle. Myoglobin grabs a hold of it and takes it to wherever we need to utilize it, the mitochondria. And these are reddish. A lot of capillaries, a lot of blood, yada, yada, yada. They're red. Pretty easy. Glycolytic fibers are fatigable, right? There, where these guys used aerobic, these guys used anaerobic. So they're the exact opposite of oxidative fibers. Where oxidative was extensive, these are fewer. If I have fewer capillaries bringing less blood, less oxygen, I don't need as much myoglobin. So there's fewer myoglobin molecules. If I have fewer myoglobin and a fewer supply, a smaller supply of oxygen, would it make sense that I would have more, would have fewer mitochondria? Yes. These are anaerobic. So what are these going to rely on? Larger stores of glycogen. Because that's the only place, I mean, it's just using glycolysis. And remember, glycogen is our long-term storage form for glucose. Because these are fewer in capillaries, less blood, they are white fibers. So just tell yourself, just memorize one and tell yourself the other one's the exact opposite. But it would make a good question, multiple choice, matching, true, false, select all that apply. There are a number of different ways I could ask you to describe oxidative fibers and compare it to glycolytic, or the opposite. When we look at skeletal muscle fibers, here's what we have, okay? They have different names, type 1, type 2A, type 2B. I'll probably on the exam, I'm going to try to put these on there. They're a little bit better descriptive in your mind. We have 3 types of skeletal muscle fiber, and your genetics determine, what's your ratio, okay? All of your muscles are generally a mix of these 3 types of muscle fibers, okay? Your genetics determines it, but training is obviously going to dictate that. If you're somebody who does a lot of endurance, you're going to, be more slow oxidative, okay? Smaller fibers. If you're going to be fast glycolytic, they're going to be really big. These are going to be more of your, baseball, track, okay, very short distance, the sprints. So the size of these, the way you train will dictate the amount of fibers that you have that are going to be slow oxidative or fast oxidative or fast glycolytic. So if we look at the first one there, as the name implies, these are slower. And when they're slower, okay, they generate less power. Remember, slow is opposite of fast. So less power. Oxidative. So they get plenty of ATP delivered aerobically. And again, these are going to be your smallest in size. Okay? Red is due to all that blood's coming into it and all the myoglobin that's in there, yada, yada, yada. If I look at the exact opposite, which is number 3 down there, your fast glycolytic, contractions are very fast, very powerful, the opposite of number 1. Contractions are very brief. Again, this is glycolytic. Glycolytic is anaerobic. Happens in the cytoplasm without the presence of oxygen. So these are going to be looking at anaerobic as their primary ability to get ATP. Very big. They're going to utilize that oxygen very quickly, so these are going to fatigue really fast. And then number 2, fast oxidative fibers. These are kind of in the middle. Okay, they have, as you can kind of see there, aerobic. They're fast and powerful. There you go with aerobic respiration. Oxygen delivery does come in a little bit less. Okay, so oxygen delivery is a little bit lower, is a little bit less. You can see it's intermediate in size. Okay, it's in between. But this is going to be somebody who walks a lot. This is going to be somebody who maybe sprints a little bit. Okay, me doing sprints and a track person or somebody in the Olympics doing sprints are a little bit different. Okay, so I'm going to be more on this fast oxidative fiber level than probably the fast glycolytic fibers. Now, if I had, tree trunks as thighs, I'm probably going to be a lot more fast glycolytic. All right, but for me, the athletic level that I'm at, and not at that Olympic level, I'm more fast oxidative fibers. But again, you are a nice, fantastic mix, and that's what I say right here. Okay? You are a mixture of these muscle fibers. Okay? And, I think I've said it, sprinters have a high, go back here, have a much higher fast glycolytic fibers, long distance, more slow oxidative. They can contract for a really long time, which means slower, more methodical, and they can utilize oxygen effectively. They get it in effectively. When you just look at just muscles in general, I mean, your hand muscles are more fast glycolytic. Okay. I mean, these things are really quick. Can you do this just as fast contraction wise with your back muscles? No, you look like a weirdo. But they have a high percentage of slow oxidative fibers. I think can contract for a really long period of time. How do you know? Did you stand up? Have you held your head up today? Did it fall down? If it didn't, then you know those back muscles have been holding you up really good all day.